This episode was doomed to be the most boring on record. I've got a real way of making wiring up Lance that little bit more exciting and fun for everyone. So stick around, let's get into it. Righto, time to go. It's not flash, we pushed on too far and now the pub's shut. It's 10 past 10. It's about at this point you really question your life choices.
It's most definitely going to catch on fire.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell people that we know when we don't know what we're doing.
Don't forget, when installing new suspension like this, make sure you lube your pin. Actually sounded like I knew what I was talking about for once. It's rare. Oh! I'm sure that's how pedal beaters do it. Well, I hope not, but that's how I did it. Sweet. Here you go, love. You've earned it.
Oh, thank you.
Right, I got... No clapping, no saying righto, no saying well. We don't live in a well. So I said I was going to make wiring more exciting, and this is how. Megan's going to do it. Megan, I think in her previous life, was an auto electrician.
No. I would rather be doing 101 other things today, but...
Like cooking, cleaning.
Don't you dare. Don't even start, mate.
I don't know if we can even put that on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Risky?
Yeah, very.
Anyway, let's get into the wiring and forget I said that. So yeah, we're really going to focus on the rear end of the car today, get those tail lights done. But I think it's time we learn something together. And it's only because we're doing YouTube that Megan's in the shed working on my 40-year-old project car.
Not really something I want to be doing, but I am keen to sort of, you know, be part of the experience and learn something new, so.
Sounds like Megan knows all about wiring already because she doesn't want to do it, and I don't want to do it either. But we're going to do it properly, and we're going to do it with some nice new tools. I only spent about $300 this morning on not much.
Right.
That's probably something I should have kept a secret. But anyway, let's do it. Righto, so just a quick update. I've been doing a few things through the week when I got 5 minutes, just trying to diagnose a few problems. And I've gone out this morning and got a few bits and pieces I think we need. The electrical connections on Lance, you can actually buy at J-Car, which is, mate, that excited me to no end, which is pretty sad, I know, but it's a big step forward just to have those proper parts. Got the proper crimpers for it, heaps of heat shrink, spent a fortune on heat shrink, but I really want to do this once and do it properly. We've had tail lights hiding around for quite a while. I know they're very modern, but they'll be tucked behind the little bits of grate on the tray, and I think they'll work. You won't notice them too much, but I did want to put a modern LED tail light on the rear. So we'll go over to Lance. I'll show you what I've been up to. As you'll see on the floor, it's all happening. This is a real shed. This is how things get done. You end up with a mess when you work. So I've got the main harness coming out of the firewall to the battery, pulled apart. It looks scarier than what it is. I've just been putting it off, and it's time to tackle it. All the headlight wiring is actually pretty good. A few of these go out to the blinkers and parkers, and I can actually use the clearance light on the blinker, I think, as daytime running lights, so Lance will have a bit of bling. But first up, we'll focus on getting that tail light harness all sorted with a trailer plug and a harness for electric brakes, and see if 50 horsepower will be able to tow a trailer one day. Open that. Cut the scissors. Look, don't cut.
Stuff your scissors.
Don't cut yourself. Okay, so this is the factory plug coming out of the firewall back down to the tail lights, and I was going to solder the wires onto this, but we got the plug from J-Car that fits the factory socket. So we're going to go about crimping the pins back onto brand new wire so we can plug it straight back in. Does that make sense? I did have trailer plug wiring. The actual wires in the trailer plug wiring are really light, so I was a bit worried about I know they're only LED tail lights, but then if you piggyback off that to go to a trailer you're towing, I was worried that they weren't going to be heavy enough gauge wires. So I bought single strand black, so we're going to make the whole harness out of single strand. Let's get into crimping these and putting them in the plug. For the record, I've never crimped these before either.
I've crimped hair before. So why are we doing black wire and all these are coloured?
Because that one roll of wire was $50. So if I bought enough wire to do all the correct colours, we'd spend thousands of dollars on wiring the cost.
Yeah, sure.
It's a really good question. Look at that. We're learning already. So the male piece goes inside the female piece.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for a giggle.
You're not funny.
Let's see how these work. So the male end, we can use the female here because we won't use the female on the car. Any ideas?
Nope. You bought the wrong tool.
I would say that's a win. Yeah. So we need 5 wires to run the length of the chassis to the back of the car. So that, can we, I'm just thinking, so that's enough wires for the tail lights and trailer plug. And we got a 6 bay plug, if that's the right way to describe it, but there's 6 pins in the plug. So we could use that 6th pin as a wire to run all the way to the front to the brake controller. Does that make sense? That didn't look good.
That's not good, is it?
I don't think so.
Fumble fingers. Feels a lot better.
Happy?
Yeah.
Now give the wire a good pull, because it's easier to fix now than...
Oh, it's moving around.
Okay, so do it, just tighten it up a bit.
Okay.
Not moving at all?
No, that's pretty good. Should it be moving
At all? No.
like a little bit?
As long as that's not the stoplights.
Bit of a dog leg there.
Doggy breakfast, more like it. Yeah.
You.
Winning?
Yeah. Cool.
Righto, let's do about another 20 of those. Okay, so we'll run a thicker red wire in the same harness for the electric brakes. So we'll just crimp a spade terminal to the end of that. Megs is a pro on the crimper now.
I like this thing, yeah. She ain't going nowhere.
Happy?
Yeah.
Righto, heat shrink.
Is what exactly?
Okay. Whoa, stop.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, you weren't watching.
What was I not watching? You're the one that's meant to be watching. You're supervising me.
Okay.
You just heat it up and it shrinks, right?
Yep.
Why do you put this coating shield on it?
Because anything the wire touches is live. Right, so then we can make that harness up. Righto, before we go any further, we will label the other end, obviously because they're all black wires. Once we tape them all together, it'll be pretty hard to figure out which one's what. So we need masking tape and a texta. Run along the chassis and cut it to length.
Okay, so I point.
You want to heat the wire up. Point it right at it. That's it. Keep it going, keep going. Righto, and bring your solder in. It's not soaking. That's starting to go, yep. Bit more, bit more, bit more, and stop. That's it. Lovely.
Any more?
No, that's fine. It soaks through the wire. It's not about coating the wire in solder. It soaks through it. That's it.
Job done.
All that goes into a 7-pin. We've got common earth for the 7-pin and the 2 taillight plugs. We'll wrap that all up, make it look pretty, and that's a harness, I think, done properly. Thanks for your help, love.
Job done.
Oh, Jesus. Bisley's going to have to start paying us more, for sure. Hear that, Bisley? So we got the rear tail light harness finished. That's a really good step in the right direction. Not only that, we've already got the 7-pin plug wired, so when that time comes, that's a big step ahead. We've got a wire in there for the electric brakes. We have some wires here ready to plug in some reverse lights. I didn't realise that the tail lights we had didn't come with them. But that's friggin' awesome. So that's enough for this afternoon. It's beer o'clock, and we're going to have to leave it until I get a bit more time to come back down into the shed, and maybe Megs will come back with me. Right, see you tomorrow.
I thought I'd do a nice thing and clean up his shed for him after our full day of wiring, and it was actually a bit of fun. So I'll do him a good deed and clean the shed.
Righto, so it's a new day, guys. I've got a bit of a minute to do a bit more on Lance in the shed, and it's really becoming apparent as to why I was putting the wiring off for so long. You just end up with such a shit fight. There's stuff everywhere. This is what happens every time I try and do a bit of wiring. It's just so fiddly. You need a lot of bits and pieces out, but we're getting through it, and we're tidying up a lot of the wires. Like the ones coming off the starter motor were terrible. The starter motor itself was hardly bolted in. It was just flopping around in there. Fixed up a lot of the earth. We've got one earth coming off the battery down to the chassis, and then all the earths will come from that chassis point. So we're really getting there, and it's looking a lot safer under the bonnet. I've got some key components turned up from all 4x4 spares. We've got a new indicator stalk and high beam switch. We got the other half of the ignition barrel, which should have the spring mechanism or the clock spring in it, I'm pretty damn sure. We've got a flasher relay for the blinkers and a reverse light switch to get those reverse lights working. So yeah, let's keep pushing on, eh? Go and pull the seats out again. Okay, so I've decided to replace the blinker switch and high beam switch because it is just filthy and it's half working, half wasn't working. So it's just one of those things that needs to be quite reliable for a blue slip and rego. And I have placed an order for some number plates, so I'm confident that it's not going to be too long, but we'll see how we go. That is filthy inside there. Righto, we've cleaned all the contacts up for the horn, give it a bit of a blowout. We don't want to make it too clean, it won't match the rest of the car. And that just goes straight back on, I'm assuming. Okay, at this point I'm going to put the battery in and test all this wiring I've just done. Make sure some of it works. So I'm hoping we're a lot closer to a blue slip today. Oh, spring in the key, that's very nice. So you won't hear the starter motor whine over from holding it on too long. Should just spring back nicely, and away we go. All right, test those taillights. They should work. We've got Parkers. That's cool. Let's go brakes. 2 brake lights, that's a bonus also. Brake switch needs adjusting a little bit. We have no blinkers whatsoever. So that's pretty good. We got most things to work. I still haven't got high beam. I've got high beam on the flasher, but it won't stay on. So we'll have a look at that. And also the horn's not working. So there could be an earth issue there in that steering wheel somewhere. I still have a body earth missing. So we'll do a few trial and error things and see if we can't get it all working. Righto, we're back down in the shed. I have been doing a few things behind the scenes. The blinker switch or dimmer switch that I replaced, where it was going into the pin itself, a couple of the wires were back to front in the new one, and that led to about 3 hours of diagnosing why the high beam wouldn't switch on. Thanks to me mate Ben, the electrician. Thanks mate. It took us a while, but we figured it out. We do have to pull the dash out and get the speedo cable connected into the back of the dash and then down onto the gearbox. So we've got plenty to do today, but hopefully by the end of today we can tidy up the electrical enough that I can get the guards back on, because we do have the side steps on that you saw in the previous episode, but these 2 episodes have been crossing over. So you see they're on now. And in the previous episode, you would have seen the finished product with the side steps and the guards on. There's a little bit of editing trickery going on. I really want to split all this into 2 episodes because there's plenty to do. Anyway, it's enough rambling. Let's get in and sort out this loom. So this little green and white wire is supposed to be a permanent power source, and then your horn is negatively switched because it goes through the button on the steering wheel, down through the steering wheel shaft into the steering box, and is earthed to the chassis that way. So when you hit that horn button, that connects the earth together. So the horn always has power. Now I've chased that back all the way around this side of the engine bay and then down underneath the dash here. And where the harness plugs together under the dash, I still can't find permanent power on that green white wire. So we'll keep chasing it back all the way to the fuse panel. That green white wire is also shared by the stop circuit signal. So, and the stop lights are working. So it's got to be something simple. It's just a matter of finding it. We'll go ahead and remove the fuse box, see if we can find some dodgy wiring under here. There's got to be something simple why this isn't working. Okay, so there's nothing apparent yet as to why that green and white wire isn't getting power, but done a bit of digging and we've pulled the dash out, see if there's anything in behind there that's obvious. While we're here, I'll pull the fascia off it, or attempt to, and clean all the dust out in behind it, and then we can also put the speedo cable in before we put it back in. Hopefully this goes back together the same way it comes apart. Righto, we got the part. It may not go back together. Nah, it should do. I'll go and get some a nice gentle cloth and a little bit of water, and we'll clean that right up. Put it back together, put the speedo cable in it. Hope it all works. Okay, that's Lance good. It's not perfect, but it's damn sight better than what it was. You can actually see through the glass now. The backing plate in there is a little bit rusty in spots, but hey, that'll suit very nicely. Before we go and tackle the engine harness, we'll tidy up the start solenoid and the glow plug relay. I was looking for that word. Look, it's not too bad. I just need to heat shrink some connections. We don't want things crossing wires in there and then the car starts itself. That is definitely a possibility. I know someone that's happened to. So definitely tidy that up, make it safe, and we'll get into the engine bay. Heaps neater under the dash now. Pretty confident that won't catch on fire. Pretty confident. Definitely not going to catch on fire. Okay, so we've got the battery hooked back up. DCS battery has a shunt inside it, so you can check on voltage and amp draw just through a Bluetooth app. Really handy when you're doing this kind of project. So I've hooked that up. There's 0 amp draw on that battery. Keys off. That just tells me I haven't got a short somewhere. It's a pretty handy diagnostic feature at this point. Not only that, I will mention it's 13.1 volts, which I reckon is roughly 75–80% capacity. All that battery has done is test and start and stop this engine for months and months now. And like I said at the start, this is a really good thing to have in a project like this. If this was a lead acid battery, I don't think it would be still charged at this point. All right, so we'll muck around with these oil pressure and oil switch wires. So I say there's two because there's an oil pressure sender in the block and there's an oil pressure switch in the block. The oil pressure switch runs to the edit control relay, which shuts fuel off when it's got low oil pressure, which in 1981 was pretty clever. In my head, I think this will be easy to determine which one's what. They are both the same coloured wires. We should be able to just put the engine in to run, tap it onto the negative, and that'll complete the circuit. And hopefully we'll see that fuel arm move back to shut off. There we go, there it is. So that should be the oil pressure switch. So I'll write on that one, oil pressure switch, and the other should be the gauge. So I've gone ahead and started making something to hold a fair few fuses under the bonnet. Some MIDI fuses to replace the fusible links in the factory harnesses. Add a couple of extra spots there for some accessories, and then maybe somewhere to mount the winch isolator. So it's just a bit of steel I had left over from a shed kit. It'll fit in there nicely. We'll get it all mounted, finish fully wiring it, and then I'll take it back out and give it a lick of black paint. That'll come up really nice. Next, we're going to go ahead and make a bit of a battery tray up, and then this will really be all the factory wiring done in the car. There will be more wiring to do at a later date, adding some accessories like compressor and UHF and finish wiring in the locker switches and stuff like that. But as far as a blue slip goes, this is all tidied up and buttoned away, and that little bracket to hold all those fuses and a battery tray really finishes off what has been quite a monumental job getting all that wiring tidied up.
Don't go breaking my heart. I wonder if I tried.
The old tent pegs featuring a lot in this build. I used them early on to repair some bodywork, and now we're making some battery tie downs by tapping the end of them. I know you can go and buy these, but it's the weekend and I just really want to get this electrical finish, which includes the battery tray. So we'll tap the end of these tent pegs, and it's a bloody good idea, and my neighbour gave me this idea, so thanks mate. It was a top one. Just for the record, I made these both up. They were perfect, but they were too short. So I'm going to get some more tent pegs, and these are 8mm, so that'll be better anyway, and they're about 20mm longer. These ones might work. Bloody hell. Okay, so the battery tray and the little panel I made up to hold all the fuses is finalised. The wiring is finalised to the point where it can only go back in one more time. I'm not going to fully secure it in place because these guards do have to come back off. The battery tray does have to come out for some paint. There's one more disassembly before it can all go back in, but the wiring is buttoned up as far as everything works, and it all looks nice and safe and it's functional. There will be another episode down the track for UHF, a compressor, any other accessories I find I want to fit to it. We'll probably put that in together as well. So no doubt there will be more wiring eventually, but as far as I'm concerned, everything works in it, which is bloody awesome. So we'll run through and give everything a test and make sure it's all ticking the box. So yeah, we got everything working. We got headlights, parkers, blinkers, clearance lights, tail lights, stop lights. Got a reverse light to plug in, and that circuit does work. We've got the reverse switch working on the gearbox. I've got an oil pressure gauge, an oil pressure stop switch, which I was amazed that all worked. We got windscreen wipers, a blower fan for the heater. The windscreen wiper washer motor is working and working all on the factory switches. Most of the dash works. The little ammeter in the dash won't work because I didn't hook it back up. I'm not too concerned about that. I think the temperature gauge is working. It did come up off dead cold, so we'll have to just run that and see if it is going to be anywhere near accurate. Obviously the oil pressure gauge worked, and I have done a little quick run up the driveway and the speedo did move. As far as the blue slip is concerned, we're good to go. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. Next episode, we're going to get stuck into that tray. I've got a really cool design, some rustic sides, and really involves some carpentry skills again, which sort of gives the game away. But before we go, we're going to give these BISLEY hats away that we promised you guys 2 episodes ago. To do that, we're going to bring Megs back.
Ta-da!
She's back. Righto, let's give all these hats away. So 2 episodes ago, we asked you guys to comment the code word job done. Heap of you guys did, and we picked 10 names from a list. So read out those 10 names, love. And if your name gets read out, make sure you go to our website, smarttouringsystems.com.au, and contact us via email, and we'll organise that hat out to your door as long as you live in Australia. Sorry, anyone overseas, you're out. We can't afford the postage, but we'll do our best. So let's go.
All right, so we've got Cameron Excel, which is spelled EXCELL. We've got John Grayland, Jarden Baker, Tyrone Redriff. We've got a girl. We've got Michelle Foster. Go the girls.
Go, Michelle.
Jeff Miles, 1760 miles is how it's written. We've got Smoking Sade, S-A-Y-E-D. I think that's what you've written there.
Interesting name, that one.
Smoking Sade. Barry, just Barry.
And just because your name's Barry doesn't mean you win a hat. The Barry that commented, please.
Yes, Barry that commented. We've got Stephen Anderson, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Congratulations, guys.
Everyone, thanks for entering. We really appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe, share it to someone you think that would enjoy the Lance build series. And again, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. So don't forget, you only live once.
What do you say when you're in the shed?
Come on.
Forget it. You only live once. Have a crack.
That was terrible. You only live once.
Get out there and... Sorry.
You only live once. Get out there and have a crack. See you guys.